A smooth sea never made a skillful sailor. What he needs is vigor to rise above challenges and courage to lose sight of the shore. When the wind didn't blow his way, he adjusted the sails and did not stop until he reached the port of call. Relentlessly exploring new horizons, he chose innovation and zeal. A businessman, philanthropist, judo instructor. We have a multifaceted personality, excited to share an energetic and refreshing perspective on emerging HR technologies with Francesco Rulli, CEO of Querlo Forbes AI Partner.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are joining. I am highly excited to be part of this great event organized by Neeyamo. And the guest I have today, Francesco Rulli, is an extraordinary person, a truly multifaceted one. And well, the topic that I have for you today is also equally interesting. And it's about artificial intelligence, the world of AI. We see AI, we hear AI everywhere, from the e-commerce websites to the social media that we use every day. And we hear quite a lot of AI jargons being thrown into us: artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, augmented reality, virtual reality, machine learning, deep learning, the list goes on and on. Where do we start? What are we going to do with AI? And particularly in the HR industry. That's what we are going to find out from Francesco today. And to introduce Francesco, I was so impressed on reading his email signature. It reads like this: there is nothing greater in life than empowering others to succeed. AI is my tool of choice to help people achieve their personal aspiration. Francesco, it's truly an honor to host you in this fireside chat, and hopefully the audience are going to enjoy our chat to the maximum. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Bruce Lee.
All right. So, yes, all of us know that the world is struggling with COVID, and it's an after effect of COVID is the remote work and the work from home. And truly, we have to touch upon employee engagement. According to a survey, at least two-thirds of full-time workforce face burnout. So now, the first question to you is: employees need motivation and engagement. They should overcome stress, distraction, boredom, especially during remote work. Do you think AI can help to improve employee motivation, engagement, and improve their overall well-being?
So let's start from the perspective of what AI is. AI is composed by two words: artificial intelligence. Intelligence is actually our best asset as humans to improve our lives, to strive to also maintain this planet in the best shape possible. So implementing intelligence in humans is a process of education that starts at the moment of birth, and we learn throughout our entire life. And to a certain extent, that's how we call it cognitive. The cognitive part of a human brain is what allows us to grow and be better humans, right? In today's world, with this incredible opportunity, but also challenge of connectivity, our brain is pulled in many, many, many different directions. And we have to look at technology either as an opportunity or a problem for us, right? So if we want to make this an opportunity, we have to know how to deal with scaling our cognitive capabilities. And that means also how to understand better the use of solutions like artificial intelligence, okay? Increasing artificial intelligence power and making an artificial intelligence work for our needs is a process very similar to the process of sending our children or sending ourselves to school to improve our personal cognitive services, capabilities. So the first step for an employer is to understand the needs of their employees, regardless if they're working within an environment or they are scattered around the world on a work from home setup, and to augment their needs with the solutions, just like artificial intelligence is today, that can make their life better, give them more time to surpass challenges and not to get stuck in these repetitive tasks, almost like those videos of Charlie Chaplin, who is basically part of the machine or the factory, right? So the A is more automation, and yes, automation is useful, but it will not necessarily increase the cognitive side of the experience. So that's where the intelligence training is very important. Engaging employees on tasks that they appreciate, educate them about what the company and what they can provide them in terms of tasks that fit their interest is very important. And that's where artificial intelligence can be a good middleware between humans to address, educate, and facilitate this process. So that's where I see AI as an augmentation to empower people, very similar to what happens with us, with our cell phones, saying, okay, with this cell phone, I can run an entire company. So that's the first step towards connectivity. But now I have an interactive learning software and platform that allows to scale my capabilities.
Oh, that was an interesting perspective. I think we can also think about AI providing constructive feedback or counseling to employees based on their performance, or maybe looking at their mood and whatever it is, right? So I think the days are not far ahead to reach that particular situation.
Well,
that's.
Let me say one more thing. AI, the cognitive services of companies like IBM Watson, Microsoft Lewis, Rasa, they provide the different levels of applications. Some of them measure sentiment, measure emotion. Some of them allow us to communicate as we are speaking to a person. That's what is called natural language understanding or processing. And learning, understanding what applications fit best this environment is very important. And as you say, giving that moral support and motivation to employees is also part of how we tune those applications to measure sentiment and address those matters, also to review and motivate employees to do better in their lives.
Right. Thank you. So the next question, I'll start with another interesting statistics. 15% of customer service is expected to be fully powered by AI chatbots by 2021. No, it's just few months away, right? So my question is, most of the employees in organizations have questions with respect to HR policies, payroll, benefits, HR employee events, and whatnot. So picking up and speaking to a HR representative, sometimes employees keep postponing it, and on the other hand, even HR representatives may not have the bandwidth or the data to answer all the employee questions. Do you think a smart HR help desk can help in this situation, and do you have any first-hand information on that?
Okay, so actually in the last 2 years, we have been focusing internally in our team on the HR digital assistants, as we have seen a very important change of the landscape of the relationship between employees and companies, okay? There are two ways to look at artificial intelligence. One is a chatbot, and usually the chatbot looks at the world from the company perspective and provides information. Another one is instead is the AI-powered digital assistant that is tailored to the needs of the specific person. So the questions and the answers and information of a specific employees are different from another employee. So Bruce Lin will have its own conversation, his own conversation with the HR digital assistant. And even the background of the digital assistant, even the tone of the voice and the conversations can change, really depends on your interest, right? Or your needs. Then Francesco, who might have another experience. So tailoring artificial intelligence to understand better people and make them comfortable and provide them insights and support of what matters to them, it's very, very important. That's the new role. And that's where we have been focusing as a company and as a philosophy to tailor artificial intelligence to the need of the individual people, starting from the employees and the executives, and providing them the support they need. As I say in my motto, the support they need to achieve their aspirations. So to understand how to support an employee, the first step is to understand what the employee wants in life. And some people don't know, they go through a life of uncertainty, especially now. So that's another role of the company, to provide the tools to the employees to reskill themselves, to explore new opportunities, positions, and provide their personal support also to projects that might not be just directly related to their current work system. For example, we developed something called the knowledge transfer, that is a platform that allows all employees of a company to interact with each other on ideas and projects, and basically build virtual startups with the support of this middleware that is a digital assistant who understands their ideas and combines them with other employees so that they can collaborate together, regardless of their seniority, location, and position within the company.
Thank you. So I'll be switching gears here from employee to the organization. And there is a statistic which reads, adoption of AI has increased by 270% the last 4 years. And the AI market is kind of predicted to reach $267 billion by 2027. So my next question to you is, well, organizations can look at AI from different perspectives: cost benefits, predictive analytics, futuristic insights, intelligent decision making, and most importantly, personalized user experience being built into the products that they build. Where do you think organizations have to focus in their roadmap to AI?
My personal opinion is about improving the knowledge base of the company. Can I take the liberty to share a slide, something that I would like to share the concept in a slide. Let me, it should be right here. So this slide is an example of a product we call the Executive Digital Assistant. This product is a digital assistant that sits on top of all enterprise solutions of a company. This digital assistant has a purpose to communicate with executives and employees. The executives look for the information that pertain to their needs, that are they are employees as well. So there are all the functionalities of an employee, but also the insights of the company, so that they can make better decisions. The employees, they look for information that can range from marketing to HR, from ERP solutions and so on, through the chatbot. This whole concept goes, all these conversations get through this brain, in which it has three main purposes. One is obviously to empower the employee to improve its efficiency and basically achieve their personal goals. And there is many facets of that, right? Another one is actually provide the executives real-time business intelligence to improve their decision-making and achieve their goals as well. But the most important part, in my humble opinion, is the will of the company to improve the quality of the company knowledge base, in which is basically is what will also improve the service that we can obtain from this entire collaboration between the artificial intelligence brain of this digital assistant and the conversation with executives, employees who have their own brains, right? So I would say, in my experience, a company who is driven to improve the knowledge base will obviously improve the basis, the fundamentals of this process of improving the experience of the employees, the executives, their customers, and so on. Okay. If you want to achieve your, let's say, your aspirations in life, you need to have an environment that allows you to do so. And I think a good knowledge base, just like going to a university or a high school, where the knowledge is presented at a certain level, but also is accessible, will actually empower you more than an environment where the knowledge base is outdated and that doesn't really provide you then that feedback, that support that you need. So this is what I wanted to show you. It's of the three matters, I think the improvement of the knowledge base is very, very, very important. That's my humble opinion.
All right. So knowledge base is an area where, you know, all the information that the company has can be kind of put up in a database, artificial intelligence insights run through it, and you can get a lot of insights out of it. Right.
Well, let me also say one more thing. Let's say in HR space, every company has, many companies obviously implement very sophisticated enterprise solutions that are very necessary. Those enterprise solutions provide a diversity of functions, okay? So what our job is with AI is to break down those functions into intents, conversational intents, and train them with utterance, different ways to talk to the intent. So you can gather 10, 20, 30,000 questions and train 200, 500 intents and create this compelling knowledge base managed by the artificial intelligence with the cognitive services of IBM Watson, Microsoft Lewis, Rasa, and so on, and provide this middleware and this support that is almost like a human experience to thousands of employees that they can interact and improve the knowledge base of their specific bucket of information. You as a company, you combine the questions and the answers from HR perspective, but also from all different enterprise solution perspectives to your own company. At the moment of an acquisition, at the moment of a merger, your company is not evaluated just based on the value of the business you're doing, is evaluated about the amount of information that you were able to train into your artificial intelligence. The company who acquires you or invests with you can actually take that knowledge and scale it up to a much larger organization. So you say, let's say you can train the AI for HR purpose of 100 employees company, pass it over to a company with 2,000 employees and save them 6 months, a year, 2 years of machine learning, and then project them into a much better performance, fulfilling maybe 70, 80% of the questions instead of 40, 50%. And that's a really good experience for the employee, that they can work with their HR department or other departments 24/7.
Right. So do you think the best HR practices in a few organizations can be replicated or learned by other organizations as well through AI?
Yes, indeed. I think it's a little bit like a collective knowledge base. And the interesting part of it, for example, we decided as a company to become technology agnostic, exactly for the reason to position ourselves in the middle between many different solutions so that we can actually learn more from the knowledge-based experience and training of different use case and provide that experience and value back to our partners and customers, right? So definitely a collective improvement of their knowledge base will provide companies, let's say an example, Neeyamo, you might have 500 customers who might be using, will be using your artificial intelligence solutions. And if each company has to train its own AI, it will take them, let's say, a year to achieve a growth of performance from 50 to 80%. But if they all combine together, they will do that in a few months. And the value would be much larger because the scale is larger. It's the same concept of which Google has trained the Google Translate with the support of millions, if not billions of people, helping them improve their translation system, because they didn't just section it and say, oh, this is just how you improved, and I'm not going to leverage the improvement of the others. So in specific to machine learning, I think combining that between companies, even if they work in different sectors and they don't have a direct relationship, is very powerful.
All right. Now I'll steer our conversation towards the relevant topic, most relevant topic, COVID-19. So as you know, working remotely has its advantages and disadvantages. But in order to empower an employee with the best work atmosphere, uh, the organization has to think about security and other data confidentiality, compliance, a lot of other things. Do you think AI has some interesting solutions to offer in this space?
Oh, definitely. When it comes especially to health, it's very, very important to provide a trustworthy environment for an employee to find a good advice and support. This is not just for COVID-19. It can be for any other issue. Like, every company has certain issues to deal with. Like there is an estimation in the United States, 20% of the population suffers of different problems in terms of depression, anxiety, and so on. So if you have a company with 1,000 employees, you know that at least 200 people need that type of support, and they might be, and providing that support and knowledge will also help them to surpass moments of difficulty. If you just let them be on Google looking for their own solution and getting lost in an incredible amount of information who might not be realistically efficient and helpful, you also have a problem, not just a moral problem with your employee, but also performance-wise, obviously, there is going to be an issue. Let me show you something we created. Chatbots are kind of like a little plug-in opportunity. Let me show you. What you see here is an example of a backend of a chatbot. But the idea of a chatbot is also the concept of providing the organization tools. For example, like this one we created is a completely free tool to assess the personal risk of a person when it comes to COVID-19. So without the need of calling someone in HR or calling your physician, you can use a chatbot to simply understand the level of risk that you have if you are exposed to COVID-19, all right? This is a very easy process. We collected some information, in this case from the World Health Organization. We created our own system of aligning ourselves to their findings. So let's say theoretically, let's say I suffer of diabetes and I had a history of cancer. I go to the next step. Let's say I have an age of 70 to 79 years old. I am a male. And I live in the USA, all right? So providing this information, now the chatbot can actually tell me what is my risk, and my risk of death for exposure to COVID-19 is 9.7%, right? So this is an example of this product. Another product that we created, still free, let me move this, is mental health, right here. This is a chatbot that has the dual purpose to address both mental health, anxiety, and depression. And in this case, it starts with depression assessment with 9 questions that eventually at the end will provide you information of the level of depression or anxiety that you suffer of, okay? All those conversations are very private conversations that happen between the employee or the person or the relative or the client and this platform, who is completely anonymous, so who doesn't ask your name, who doesn't expect to reveal any personal detail, but they give you that informational support that has been approved possibly by the company who provides that support. Those chatbots that are very small chatbots with 5, 7, 9 steps within their interaction can just be plugged into a digital assistant, an HR digital assistant, to provide also the type of support throughout those difficult times.
All right. So the last most exciting thing, I've always wondered if we can pick the brain of some very intelligent people from the yesteryears and bring them relevant to today's situation. And I think Francesco, you have a very good solution around that, right? So you can your solution can uh, make Michelangelo travel from the yesteryears to today.
Yeah.
So we would like to see how relevant will be Michelangelo's personality and his attitude in today's environment. Could you give us a demo of that interesting solution that you have?
Yes. Okay. So let me start from why Michelangelo. Back in 2011, the NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, contacted me to distribute some of their videos on a video platform that I launched in 2005. And I saw a video of a young woman building a school in Afghanistan. And at that point, I was making money basically with advertising. It was just a little bit after Malala, the young woman in Pakistan, had been shot by the Taliban. So I didn't want to blame the Taliban. I wanted to blame the system. And I looked at BBC as a platform for publishing that didn't reward financially the publishers, in this case, this young woman. So what happens, I decided to venture into building classrooms in Afghanistan. We financed about 13 classrooms, and we had thousands of young women studying their digital literacy. The next step was we developed a very nice compelling program, but the government there decided to take control of the classrooms. And that's when we switched into building chatbots to continue our education process. You fast forward a few years, and now because I'm from Florence, I thought about approaching the Cathedral of Florence Museum and propose them a partnership in the construction, in bringing the Renaissance to be approachable by anybody around the world, starting from those young women in Afghanistan all the way to anybody else in the world. And just before COVID hit, we started working together on this possible collaboration of building an artificial intelligence that would provide that insight. So let me show you some examples. So let me move this, hold on. Okay. So let me close this. So this is the back end of a chatbot built for the Cathedral of Florence. It's a very simple deterministic chatbot in which explain the activities of the Cathedral of Florence, okay? So this is, you come in, ask you if you have been here first. If I recognize the cookie, I send you here and you skip the introduction. If not, you see the full introduction, and then you get to choose what video and what explanation you want. And then here you have the option to conversate with Michelangelo. Now, Michelangelo is a very famous artist. He wrote sonnets, books himself. There were two people that were alive at the time he was alive that wrote biographies about him. So we have a lot of information. So in collaboration with the Museum of the Cathedral of Florence, we decided to build a compelling artificial intelligence based on the natural language understanding tools of IBM Watson and Microsoft Lewis to communicate with people and listen to their questions. The team in Florence is composed by 4 people. One is a Monsignor Verdon, who is an American actually. Then we have Rita Filardi and Giovanni, who are 2 Italians. And then we have Monica, who is a young Spanish woman, all experts in arts who analyze the questions that come through the people that interact with the chatbot of Michelangelo and provide them answers. So I imagine you can see here Michelangelo. This chatbot, you can see his self-portrait at the Pietà that is actually in the museum in Florence. He recognized me, so I say, okay, hi, it's me. And then I can start having a conversation. For example, what inspires you, okay? And the chatbot will communicate back with the natural language understanding cognitive partner that we chose, and it will provide you an answer based on the question that you asked. Okay, we have trained about 200 interns. We have collected about 5,000 questions. Our goal is to get to 25,000 questions and train about 500 interns, okay? The chatbot will answer us with some information about how he got his inspiration, but will also ask us some questions. For example, would you like to see a presentation that the Hercules placed in the outside of the Florence Cathedral? I can say yes, and it will provide me this information. So the very important part of this is not only Michelangelo is talking to me about himself, but now he's gathering information from me, okay? Does this particular Hercules remind you of any other sculpture? It doesn't. So let's say what I'm learning today. And here, do you wish to know about our works inspire me? And let's say yes. And here we go and continue their explanation, okay? Now, the machine learning process of this this chatbot has also allowed us to create an incredible amount of innovation within our knowledge base. And I will show you another use case. Okay, very important. At the end of the conversation, we will ask, and this happens in all our NLU machine learning processes, we'll ask if what you're looking for is what we deliver to you. If you say yes, everything is okay, and we approve of what we deliver you. If you say no, you will help us in the process of improving the machine learning. That's how we increased we improved the quality and the amount of information provided by this platform. All right, we're now seeking partnerships with different universities and private institutions that are interested to distribute this product, this knowledge base with us, starting from Michelangelo, but adding also other important artists of the Renaissance. So this is a little bit of where we are.
That's exciting. So I think this is available in the internet for anybody to play around with.
Yes and no. For now, is in beta. Is only by invite. We want to hit the public in 2021. We have also because we are using this system to create a support and partnership for the restoration of the baptistry of Florence. Is a 10 million euro project in which we are restoring the mosaics inside the baptistry itself. So we are bringing education. We are involving people to train the machine learning, the intelligence of Michelangelo, and with their media and financial support, we are actually restoring the beautiful mosaics you see here on this chatbot.
All right, excellent. So I'm afraid we are running short of time. We have a lot of things to discuss, but I think we have come to the end of the session. So it was truly exciting and inspirational to listen to you, Francesco. And ladies and gentlemen, Francesco will be available in the speakers lounge where you can ask him your questions. And with that, we come to the end of this session. Thank you very much, Francesco. Have a great day.
Thank you. Very appreciated.